H2KInfosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2KInfosys supports 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus. One-time pay, lifetime access to live classes and videos. H2KInfosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For free demo class, visit h2kinfosys.com.
Perfect. I am seeing the response from all of you because he is not user in my system. He's not a user in my system. So let's try to make this guy a user in my system. So I'll show you how to make that. So let me create user. Right click on this new user. I'm giving some name, make 25 here, and anyway let me give full name as make 25 and then make 25. Password, okay, let me not give the password. So if I give the password here, in this, when the user sees like this, when I do like this, when I add that user, here I'll see one more user in my Windows account. Okay, and here it will show me make 25. Okay, when I log off. So now when I don't give the password here, when I click on create, so when this user need not enter did not enter password. So now let me go here, create this user must change the password. Anyway, this is not required, so let me click on create. Okay, so close. So now I can see that there is a user called make 25 for my computer. So when I do a log off, initially I'll see make 6, make 25, Meghnad and Reddy. So I'll see these are the users, 4 users, and guest user also is there. Now let's try to add Windows authentication for make 25. So right click on this new login, and now I'm going to select here, I'm going to click here make 25. Now click on search. So now it's asking again, let me enter make 25. Now when I click on check names, I'm seeing this Meghnad PC/make 25. Okay, now I can click on OK, and here I'm going to add this guy Windows authentication. So I'm going to give the server roles for this database testing, and now click on OK. Now when that person logs into the system, when he opens SQL server, he need not give password, he can select Windows authentication. That is about Windows authentication. So Windows authentication you can give only for those users who are there in your computer. If yours is an individual computer, if you are an organization, you can give only for those users who have Windows account in your organization. That is for Windows authentication. And SQL Server authentication you can give for anyone who are outside your organization as well. For that you need to give some user ID and password. Okay, so that is about Windows authentication and SQL Server authentication. Now is it clear for all of you? Yeah, so please feel free to tell me if you're not getting something, so we can make the things clear, because these are our initial days. At least for 4 or 5 classes we need to be very strong, because these are the questions they might ask you if you tell like you have experience in SQL Server. So they will tell how do you log in. So you might tell I log in with Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. Then they will ask you what is the difference between Windows authentication and SQL Server authentication. So you might need to explain this very clearly. Okay. So as a tester, you might need not know about what are the roles, responsibilities inside for this user, all those details, but at least you should know about what is the difference between logging in, what is the difference between Windows authentication and SQL Server authentication. We cannot know, we cannot predict the person who is interviewing, so we should be clear on this. Okay. So any questions? Ping me if you have any questions. Okay, so I got a question like with SQL Server authentication we can also control access to the database. Yes. So when I try to create SQL Server authentication, for example, here right click on this new login. When I select SQL Server authentication and I'm giving some name as Meg99, sorry. So when I'm giving here a login name as Meg99, and if I'm giving the password, say for example, let me give some initial password. So I'll give this password. So now imagine a new DBA has joined. so I'm running a company, a new database administrator has joined, and I'm leaving the company, say for example. So currently my account will have here sysadmin. So what I need to do, that person who is joining, so I need to give him SQL Server authentication, or if he already got the Windows user account, I can give him Windows user account. So I need to give him system admin, or I will select all the roles: security admin, process admin, DB creator, or whatever. Now I can give him access to all the databases. Okay, so I need to select which databases, because he is a DBA. So I need to give him access to all databases which I have. Now I need to go to securables. I need to give him okay. So I'm giving him, click on OK. So now this guy account is getting created. Now when that user joins the company and he tries to connect in SQL Server, for example, he's trying to connect to SQL Server. So what he can do is he can actually select SQL Server authentication, and he will give here Meg99, and he'll give his password. So as usual, for the first time it will ask him to change the password. Okay, so just a second, I need to verify his account. So let me close this. Let me go here and see what is the roles I gave for that user. So refresh it. So Meg99, right click on this properties. So I have given all these things, server mappings, I gave all this, user mappings, I gave all the databases, and here let me give all this access also, because he is a sysadmin, he is a DBA. So securables, okay, status, grant and enable. So click on OK. Okay, so now let's try to connect using this one. So let's try to connect. So it's asking to change the password. So now what he will do is he will change his password. He'll give his new password. So copy this, and now he can actually give the password here, new password. Okay, click on OK. Now he is able to log in. Now since Meg99 is a DBA, from now he can also create logins. But when you see Meg18, he is not a DBA, he cannot create logins. For example, when the user logs in, for example, if you see here, I am trying to log in with Meg18. Okay, so when I log in with Meg18, this guy cannot create users, because he is not a DDL admin, sysadmin. I have not selected all the roles. I have selected only public role for him. So when he logs in, he cannot have privileges to create accounts. Okay, that's the reason why when you join a company, they will ask you if you want to access for a database, they will ask you, please connect to DBA, please talk to DBA. He will give you access. How do you think he will give access? He will go to databases, and he will go to security logins, and he will create a new login, and he will give your Windows ID here. Then you will be able to access to the database. And okay, so now if I go to Meg99, you can see which user is connected here. Here you can see. So if you see here, currently I am connected using Meg99, this window, and if I open another window, this window, I am connected using Meg18, and the other window which I have, I am connected using Megnar. Okay, so how do I know my Windows ID? So when you join the company, they will tell you your Windows ID. So when you join a company organization, they will create a Windows ID for you, and using that you will connect to the system. Okay, so that is how. Now let's try to see whether. So we already saw that Meg18 is not able to create logins. See, we saw that new login using Meg18, and we gave some values here, like Meg100. He is trying to create Meg100 user ID, and then he is trying to give the password here. So let me give some password here, and he is trying to select the server roles as public and user mapping for this, and he is clicking OK. Now this user, currently logged in user Meg18, he is not having access to create a login. Now let's try to do this from the user make 99, because this user has having all the privileges. So now let's try to do that. Security logins, right click on this, new login. I'm going to give the login as make 100. Let me give the same password, initial password I have, like this. Copy this, give the same, and click on user mappings, select this database, click on OK. Now this guy is able to create. Okay, so this is about Windows authentication and SQL Server authentication. So normally Windows authentication is used for those who work for company, or if you are working for your computer, Windows authentication you can select only for those users who are there for your computer. Okay, and SQL Server authentication you can give any user ID and any password. So normally SQL Server authentication is used within the organization as well as outside the organization. So that is where we use SQL Server authentication. But whereas Windows authentication, it will be used only for those employees who are working for your organization, or only for the users who are there for your computer. Okay, for how many of you it's 100% clear now? You can tell me in percent, 90% clear, or 100% clear, or 0% clear. Okay, so okay, so I'm getting a question saying like, when we have Windows authentication, don't we need SQL Server authentication? Yeah, that doesn't require, you don't need both Windows or SQL Server authentication, any one will do. Okay, if you can connect to Windows authentication, that's fine, you are able to create database, you are able to practice all those things. Okay, any one authentication should do for practicing. Okay, so I am not seeing response from all of you. Some of you said it's 100% clear, so I'm not seeing response from everyone. Please ping me like how much percent you are clear, like if you're okay, if you're clear, or you want me to repeat, or yeah, that's what the benefit is. Windows authentication we normally use for within the organization, so that they will not enter the password again. See, when a person has already logged into the computer, why we want to tell him to enter the password again? He's already authenticated. See, in companies normally we use Windows authentication, we don't use SQL Server authentication. The reason, because he is actually logged into his system, that means he is already authenticated. Why do we need to authenticate again for SQL Server? So that is the difference between Windows and SQL Server. Okay, so is it clear? So now, okay, now who wants to explain this? Who wants to explain this to me? The difference between Windows authentication and SQL Server authentication. Who wants to tell? At least one point will do. Just one point. What is SQL Server authentication? What is Windows authentication? Who wants to take this up? They can tell to all of us. You can unmute yourself. You can ping me like I want to take, and then you can just tell points whatever you understood. Okay, so I'm just unmuting Sangeeta. Sangeeta wants to go, so yeah, you can try, Sangeeta. Yeah, I'm hearing some disturbance. Okay, I just muted because we are hearing a lot of disturbance, like some hissing noise at the back. So anyone else who has some, I think Chandra wants to try. So Chandra, go ahead. I have just unmuted you.
The Windows authentication is for the users in an organization, or the users that are in your computer if it is a standalone.
Okay, perfect.
And SQL Server authentication is typically if in companies with SQL Server authentication is required, or if someone has to access it like remotely and other ways. Typically in organizations we use Windows authentication because every access is provided based on your ID.
Perfect, very good, perfect explanation. So I got it very clearly. So anyone wants to ask any questions to Chandra, feel free to ask. Now he will try to explain things for you. Anyone has questions, you can unmute and ask. Okay. Thank you very much, Chandra. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. So now let's focus on other topics now. So anyway, you need not know to the level which we discussed. So normally I'll teach this topics for SQL Server course. Okay, but still I thought of giving, since a couple of students asked me, can you explain what is the difference? So I just took time to explain this. Okay, so now let's focus on the remaining part of this course. So let me go to this PDF. So we'll be sending this material to all of you. This material which I prepared long back for SQL Server basics. Now let's try to focus on the next topic. So we are going to learn. So now I'm going to create this table. I have here create table scripts. So for those who don't know this identity column, what is an identity column and all, please go through the video of our first class. For sure you have to go through before coming to next class. So I have already pinged the link for you in the chat window. Take it from that YouTube link. Okay, so only for the first 5 classes we'll be giving the recordings. Okay, so from the next time you might need to record it. Okay, so now I'm going to create this database employee. So create this table employee. So right click on this, copy. Now go to SQL Server. So let me close all these windows I have. So I don't need all this. Just for explaining about logins, I told this. So now I closed all this. So now I have only Meghnad user. So now let's go to database. So this is the database which we are going to use for this course, DBT 24th May batch. So you need to right click on this database, and then you need to right click on this database, and you need to select new query. Okay, so when you create a database, right click on this, select new query, and then you can see what are the tables we have. So we have employee table, job applicants table, and sports table. So let's try to drop all the tables. So if you want to delete or drop a table, the command is drop table name. So employee. So let me drop all the tables. Drop table job applicants, and then drop table sports. So let me make it clean now. We'll start it from the beginning. So I'm dropping this table employee. Once you drop it, that's it, the table is gone. So drop this table even job applicants, and drop the table execute. Okay, now let's try to refresh it. So that's it, all the tables are gone. I'm not seeing any tables here. So now I got a question. So the question is, when inserting date of birth, small date, time is also included. How do I insert date of birth without time? Okay, now okay, so for those who missed the previous class, let me quickly summarize it. So in SQL Server, we declare a variable like this. So we declare a variable like this: declare @name or @name varchar 20. Okay, and see, normally in other programming languages, for example, take any programming language. For example, if you are familiar with Java or if you are familiar with C language, so we declare variables like this. We declare variable like this, int a, and then we write like this, a is equal to 10, like this. But in SQL Server, we don't declare like int a and a is equal to 10. So we declare variables like this. So declare @ a integer. Okay, this is how we declare in SQL Server. So we normally use @ symbol for variables. All the variables in SQL Server, we have to use @ symbol followed by the name. For example, if I want to store name of a person, so I'll give @name, and I'll give here varchar 20. Okay, and now if I want to assign some value, I cannot give right away like this, @name is equal to, I cannot give Meghnad. So in SQL Server, I have to use set @name is equal to Meghnad. So this is how we do in SQL Server. So you cannot do like this, how you are doing for traditional programming languages. You have to do like this in SQL Server. So let me copy this and then paste it here. Now if I want to print this value, I need to give print @name. And remember, SQL Server is not case sensitive, so I have given here like @ small name, but I'm trying to print @ capital name here. So when you execute this, it will work for you. See, now I'm seeing the output here. So when I execute here, this window is called output window. You can see that is printed here. Whatever is there in Megnath, that is. So I repeat, you have to declare a variable like this in SQL Server, and you have to assign a value like this, and you have to print print @ name. You can see the output here. Now if you want to print the current if you want to print in the uppercase, we have some methods. We have some string functions. So I got a question saying like, what if I want to print the name in uppercase letters? So we have a lot of string functions. So I'm going to discuss that maybe in 5th class or 6th class. So upper, and you can write like this. So this is the string function which will convert this name to uppercase letters, and then it will print it. So if I execute this now, you can see that I'm seeing Megnath in uppercase letters. Okay. So anyway, we are going to discuss all the string functions as a part of this course. I have this inside this material. So I have this string functions discussed here. Somewhere here we have, so these are the string functions we have. We have ASCII, Unicode, upper, lower. So we'll see if you give upper. So we'll see that all this. So a lot of things we are going to cover as a part of this course. And one more thing which I want to tell you is, even though this course is database testing course, even if you decide to move to developer role, you can move to developer role, because this course is designed in such a way that you will be flexible to move to development side, or you'll be flexible to move to database testing side. So we are covering both development as well as testing. So that is the reason why we have exclusively course called database testing. Okay, so I'm sure all of you are in the right course, database testing. We have a lot of openings for, even if you find any job opportunity for SQL Server developer, you can apply for it. Okay, so some of you might be how many of you are interested in development? Feel free. If you're not interested, I'm not interested, like that. So I see one name. How many of you are like thinking of going to development side? Only one person, right? Any other? Okay, so definitely with my personal suggestion, like maybe you can start your career as a developer or a tester, but maybe when you get a chance for moving to development, you can work on it for some time, at least for 6 months or 1 year. That will give you a lot of idea. Then you can move to tester again, database tester. Okay, I see some of my colleagues who are interested in testing, they purposefully move to testing side. Okay, there in testing, the good thing is you will find lot of scope for learning functional concepts. You will be like you will be the one who will guide the team in functionally, or some testers, right? They will have lot of domain knowledge. Okay, they will be continuously interacting with the product owner, and we have some concept called agile way of doing. I do take that course as well, agile course. Anyway, so that is a part. So okay, so now let's come back to this course again. Okay, so I was just telling you on, I'll be sharing this PDF to H2K team, and they will share with you, everyone. Okay, so maybe not today, maybe by the next class they will send this for all of you. Okay, so don't share this. These are all H2K. I prepared it, so these are all H2K confidential. So don't share with all your friends when you're done with the course or something. Okay, so now let's try to create this table. I'm just trying to create this table employee. So now right click on this, copy this, go to your SQL Server. So okay, I'm just telling this because someone asked me a question like, what is small date time? So let's try to understand that. So here I declare a variable like this, declare @DOB, as for example I want to declare. So as I already told, we have 5 data types for storing date time things. So date, time, and we have date time 2, and we have small date time. Okay, so we have these are the variables which we have. So now these are the data types we have for storing date related. So for example, I want to store my date of birth. So I don't worry about the time when I'm born, for example. So in that case I'm fine with the date variable. Or for example, I want to tell to a company, I joined a company and the company wants to store employees' date of birth. So in that case they don't need time of birth. So anyway, it's not, when you are seeing for marriage or something, then they will ask you for what is the time you are born. But anyway, the companies don't care for the time which you are born. So in that case, what they will do is they will create a table, create table employee. So and in that case they will tell here employee ID integer and emp name varchar 20, and then OB they will put the here date, because they don't want the time of so in that case, so for example, let me briefly explain how this will store. So I already told if you want to print the current system date and time, what is the command? If you want me to see the current system date and time, yeah, it is get date. So I need to give select, I need to write here select get date. So all the functions you normally execute using select get date. Okay, so if I do this select get date, now I'm seeing this 28 May 6:52 a.m. Yeah, for me it's 6:52 a.m. morning. Now if I want to assign this date to some variable, so in that case I should not write set here, because this is a function. So when you are getting the data from a function to a variable, you have to use select. For example, let me explain this here. I am declaring a variable as date. Okay, now if I want to assign some value for this DOB using get date, I have to write here select @DOB is equal to. But because this get date is a function, this is how we normally assign. But normally if you are not using a function, you need to do set @DOB is equal to, like this. You have to write here your specific date. For example, 1st January 2010. I can assign like this if I'm actually using normal assignment. But if I'm doing using get date, I need to write using select, because this get date is a function. Okay, so that is about set and select. Now I'm assigning to this date of birth get date to DOB, which is date data type. Now if I print @DOB, let's see what it will print. So let's execute this. Now I'm seeing only date 28 May 2014. I'm not seeing the time because DOB is currently data type date. So now let's try to assign time here. Now if I execute this, it will take only time. It is taking 6:54:12 seconds. Okay, that is the reason, that is about time data type. Now if I give date time both, so this data type. So now if I execute this, I can see that May 28 2014 I'm seeing 6:54 a.m. Okay, now if I give date time 2, so I'm not seeing any milliseconds here, but when I do date time 2 and execute this, I can see here 6:54 39 seconds 87 nanoseconds. So that is where you need. So for example, I want to store date of birth in a company, so I'll use date variable. I want to store date of birth when I was born, maybe I might need the time also. So hospitals might need to use date time variable, because they care for seconds also. Maybe they want to give to parents like this time, this seconds he was born, this minutes he was born. And now I'm working for NASA, or I'm working for ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. In that case, I want to store nanoseconds also, exact time when the satellite has launched on the Earth or satellites launched on the moon, something. In that case, I'll definitely go for date time 2. Because if you see here, I declared as date time 2, I'm seeing here nanoseconds also, 0.87000 like this. Okay, so that is the use of different data types. If you want more accuracy, so accuracy of date time 2 is 100 nanoseconds, and accuracy of date time is 3.33 milliseconds, and accuracy of small date time is 1 minute. Okay, so that is the use of these data types. Date will only store the date, time will only store the time. Date time will store date and time, but the accuracy is 3.3 milliseconds. Date time 2, the accuracy is 100 nanoseconds. That means it's very much better than date time. And small date time, the accuracy is 1 minute. you cannot see seconds in small data time. So for example, see now when I execute this, I'm seeing 656, 23 seconds, 34 nanoseconds or whatever. But when I made this data type as small data time, I'll not see. So when I execute this, I'm not seeing the seconds here, because the accuracy of small data time is minutes. How many of you are clear with this data time? When to use what data type? Yeah. Okay. So good. So that is about. So anyway, so we'll start the other concepts in the next class. I'll just quickly summarize what we have discussed. Maybe we'll proceed a bit slowly till 2-3 classes. Then we'll proceed. So one question I'm seeing, will you tell us how database testing happen in banking domain and data migration testing? Yeah, we write test cases. So normally if you are a QA student, you would have seen how to write test cases. We will see how to write test cases in database testing. We have all those things in our course. So first 8 to 10 classes, you will only see the development course. You will not see anything related to testing. And from 11th class or 12th class, you might see about database testing. As I said already, this course is designed in such a way that the person who is attending this course can move to development or testing. So first 10 classes is purely focused on development. The next 10 classes is purely focused on database testing. Okay. So yeah. So I think we can stop here. So